The BMW 3 Series has its US-American debut here at the LA Motor Show, and this one here is a very special one, the M Performance model, the 3 Series 340i, the M340i. We'll take you on a tour on the exterior, see already this copper accentuations, the interior, and also what about the performance and the technology. A full tour of the 3 Series with a special focus on the M340i. Let's go. So this M Performance model features a different front grille with this dot structure. It looks a little bit more powerful. You also get several headlamps option as well. Those ones are the top LED laser lights, so the laser function also for the high beam function, but you don't have to go with the most expensive option anyway. Then in the lower part we see those comp structures in the side part here, also with this air curtain, so there's really a spot to let the air flow through. Also comp structure in the lower part, so overall a very powerful one. The lighting is a little bit strange always at the motor shows, but this one here, this pure black color, looks surely very aggressive already. It looks maybe as it would be one of the true M models in the past. The M Performance models, as you know, are always one step below the true M models. Standard, the new 3 Series starts with LED headlamps in total already. Then optional you get the adaptive LED that swing together with the steering. Then, as I said earlier, those ones here, the top spec, the laser light. Doesn't make so much sense to go for it with the US. Regulations might change at some point, but at the moment the range of the laser light is restricted in the US if you compare it to other markets. 4.70 m or 15'4" is the length of the new 3 Series. That's a couple of centimeters longer than the predecessor. The M Performance model here comes with a special rims, 18 inches standard, 19 inch here, the optional ones, the maximum choice you can get. There's a base suspension for the new 3 Series, but that one already includes new hydraulic cushions that they really adapt a little bit more on the road surface. Then this one here comes with an M suspension, 10 millimeters lower, and optional you can go for the adaptive M suspension that also reacts according to the driving modes you are picking. Really anxious to test that one out. Even the base suspension has supposed to give you more comfort and sportiness, then maybe even a little bit more with the adaptive suspension. Design-wise, you can see it's rather an evolution again from the 3 Series. The main design is here above the door handles, but we remain here with a rather classic sedan look. The so-called Hofmeister Knick from a famous designer back in the days at BMW is being transported here at the rear. And this one also all black frames around the windows, and again with those copper style accentuations. This copper tone or this brushed aluminum style is really famous at the moment. Since the M Performance model also features more performance in power, it shall also feature bigger brake discs in the front, both in the rear. You can see here they are a little bit wider. Also, if you compare them now to the rims, they really fill out the rim almost completely. So also pretty exciting how the braking performance will be on this very model. The weight has been reduced a little bit to the outgoing model, it's about 50 kilograms. That's also accounting for this 50-50 weight balance. So although it's a classic sedan with the engine in the front, they have achieved a 50-50 front axle, rear axle weight balance that shall account to the sporty driving performance. The rear perspective, you can see we have a small wing lip here, but just a very subtle one. And I like this style that's a little bit sportier, but that does not exaggerate too much. Also with the M badge already, M340i. X-Drive always tells you it has the all-wheel drive. There's a rear view camera here too. Those new tail lamps are more three-dimensional for all 3 Series model. Then you will have different trims, also like a Sport Line, an M Sport that goes up the sporty ladder then. And then there's the M Performance model. So even stronger elements, also with this rear diffuser style, and even more prominent exhaust tips, because again those are just exhaust tips, the real exhaust are on the inside. Talking about the rear axle, what else is there to mention for the M Performance model? Well, it will get a M Sports differential that will also help you to get out of the corners when you apply all of the power. However, since it's an all-wheel drive model, you will also get torque to the front wheels, so it will not matter that much as if you would just have a rear-wheel driven model. Under the hood there's a 3-liter 6-cylinder, 374 horsepower and 4.4 seconds to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. This is always coming with all-wheel drive to get all the traction to the ground. Here also says the M Performance model and just visualized in this hood cover here with those 6 cylinders. And we will soon be able to check out the performance on the racetrack with the prototype model as well. Now to the interior. Inside of the doors, soft materials on the top part. You can see in the lower part there is some spot for bigger bottles there because it reaches a little bit through the interior, and the box, the speakers there are curved a little bit. I think it's a good idea. Then it's not only black on the exterior, they also have a black design scheme for the interior here for the M Performance model. Also with the M Sport steering wheel, they are a little bit, let's say, unsymmetric always. It looks a little bit strange. We will soon turn on also the digital instruments. There are several options available there. And let me talk about the seats. The M Performance model will start with a great combination from Alcantara on the inside and Centertech leatherette on the outside. Those ones here are, however, the full animal skin spec. It depends always from market to market, but in most of the markets they'll probably offer this great sport seat where you also don't slide then so much as in this combination. And this is also a lot of black for the interior, I think. Just some blue contrast stitches you can find there. So now I took a seat. The seat form is a little bit different than from the base seats. Your pelvis is tilted a little bit, so I usually put it a little bit higher than for the seats, for example, put in front lower and a little bit higher in the rear. For sport seats, however, they still offer some decent comfort. We'll check that out when we drive the car, of course. Here also a little bit wider in the shoulder area, that you got some more support than also at the sides. In general, the most important thing about this new 3 Series generation is that they stepped up the build quality and the interior is cleaner and more digitalized. So far, they had a great driving car, but the build quality was not as up to date as for the other mid-size competitors. And here now, it's really nicely done and well organized. It's rather conservative, yes, but they have also plush materials on top of the dashboard. This checkered structure style here for the M Performance model. And you can see a very well done integration of the screen here. There are different options available. It starts with analog instruments 5.7. This one here is the 12.3 full digital instrument. And on the right side you can start with 8.8 inch, a smaller one. This one here is the 10.25 inch maxed out screen. The temperature is controlled here, still manual basically. So you don't have to do anything in the touchscreen right there. And you also still have a normal volume knob with some hotkeys right there. Well, the steering wheel, again, it looks so strange, but when driving, it's actually quite interesting. But still, I'm a fan of the base BMW steering wheels because I'm not such a fan, when the top part is somehow bigger than the lower part here. But that's maybe also just matter of taste. Important also with the new 3 Series is the voice activation. You can activate it here at the steering wheel or just say, "Hey BMW." I'm not sure if the car is powered now here properly. No, the battery is discharged at the moment, but we have a studio episode with the 3 Series where we also tested the voice activation feature and it worked quite well, for example, setting the temperature or also heading to your next GPS route. That's probably very interesting. As for the room you have here, it's a little bit more spacious than the outgoing model. Also headroom-wise, it works with 1.86 m or 6'1". This one here, however, equipped with the panoramic roof. I cannot open at the moment because, again, the battery is not charged. But this one would be the gap you have in here for the roof if you want. So it's a little bit larger than the predecessor. So they've also stepped up the game right there. And one of my favorite features, I know from the exterior, those wing tail lamps, they have gone. But still this wing design here on the top part is still present. Let me give you a tour on the middle console right there. There's a normal USB supply there. Then there's a spot to inductively charge your phone in the very front. Those cup holders are also adaptive, and then you can always just close it again. Press it and close it like this. Then this is the shifting lever. It has a smaller form now. You'll have a hotkey for the camera system, for example. There is now touchscreen, yes, but you can still use this turning and pressing knob, or also write in there, for example, for the address if you don't use the voice command. And some hotkeys still. This is basically an even area, but still you could get there some haptic feedback when you press that one. Automatic transmission we have here. There's no manual for this car left. And then we have the middle armrest, which is very well attached. And then below here we have a USB-C supply. So this is a mix between normal USB and USB-C. And by the way, the lower part here, this is a pre-production model, so this will have a proper cover. We've already seen that in the normal 3 Series review in the studio. So let's take a seat in the back. Well, the 3 Series not the king of room in the rear. It does exactly fit now here since the car has become a little bit longer. Still, it's not the best car as for the package, as for the room you have on the interior, on the rear, if you consider the exterior length. Headroom-wise, this is still working since the ceiling is raising just a little bit. And it's still okay to sit here in the rear. Surely not the most comfortable space, but this is also a general segment with mid-size sedans. They don't offer the best legroom in the rear. Then there's an armrest here with cup holders. You can also use this ski hatch, just fold the middle part. Yes, you can. Unless there we go. So you can load things through. But then for the seats, you're searching and searching and won't find anything. So we have to go around and do it from the trunk. However, just a short look here at the middle console. 2 more USB-C supplies in the rear, in the middle part. And sitting here in the middle part with this big all-wheel drive tunnel, or it will also be a rear-wheel drive tunnel, getting from the front engine to the rear drivetrain. This is so big, there's no chance I could probably sit here in the middle part, also with a stiff... Maybe, for emergency situations, it is registered for the third passenger in the rear, but not really suitable for adults. So what's 480 liters in the trunk? Let's just see about that. Electric opening, and here we go. Of course, you're always limited here in the front area. The height here in the top part, this is just about 50 centimeters. And the length of the trunk up till the very end, this one here is just 1 meter in length, so the length is no problem. This is, actually good for loading. It raises here a little bit in the end part. And as for the width, let's see, usually it's just about 1 meter also in width. And it's not quite 1 meter in width, so it's less than 1 meter in width. So that should be a little bit better, I guess. It will be probably better in the 3 Series Touring. We'll keep you updated with that on Autogefühl as well. Then you'll be less limited also in the height here. Of course, the Touring is mainly a model for European markets. If you in the US and also want to see more touring models, more estate models, then tell us in the comments. I think it's a very interesting thing because so far they're rather uncommon. People rather go for SUVs then or so. But of course the touring models always have the advantage that they actually offer you a lot of length in the trunk and also width. But here with the sedan here, the M Performance model is maybe a little bit more fitting to the sedan because people want to go for a little sportier style. And last but not least, is it actually working here with the child safety when you have the torque applied? Yeah, that's easily done. I mean, for those small hatches, it's also way easier. So a good electric opening and closing mechanism. And now we are joined by BMW CTO Klaus Fröhlich. He is responsible for development and technology. And of course, we've seen the BMW iNext concept. We've seen the 340i. So there's basically something like a combination between the new future models and the old classic models. Which direction are you actually heading to?
I have to do different sprints at the same time. So this car, for example, is the spearhead of the 5th generation of electric propulsion systems. But when it's launched here, it will be in that car too. It's the same with autonomous driving. Autonomous driving technology level 3 and 4 will be launched in that car, but then this digital theme is compatible to do whatever in the next 7 Series or something like that.
So if you think about the new 340i, I would say, the customers maybe have driven the predecessor model and maybe will buy the next generation of this car again. will the 3 Series actually stay as it is, or how is the transition and also for the future technology for like the classic model?
Perhaps you have seen last year's BMW I Vision Dynamics. We call it now i4. So the answer is, yes, there will be combustion engine 3 Series or 4 Series. There will be plug-in hybrids with much extended range. But there will be on that same platform also battery electric vehicles. So you have the free choice because in the different regions of the world, people will prefer battery electric vehicles, power plug-in hybrids or conventional combustion engines.
So you think there's not like one perfect solution? Will it be a lot of different solutions at the very same time?
I think that's exactly the challenge we face. We do not know in which country, with which speed electromobility will succeed. And so I have some kind of jigsaw puzzle. The car platforms on the one side and the technologies on the other. And then I have to fit them to be flexible for at least the next 10 years.
Talking about the M performance models, what can you do to improve the performance there even further? Because I mean, technology has gone so far with the classic technology, like putting the car lower, adaptive suspension, and so on. Suspension is a really big topic with the new 3 Series. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Yes, this was the clear target. We want to differentiate even more than in the past on driving dynamics to the competitors in the 3 Series segment. So I put a lot of effort that I have a very stiff chassis invested into the suspension system. And for example, the 3 Series you have seen here, 380 horsepower. I added also a slip differential to have more mechanical grip for this high performance.
So maybe we'll see us in Portugal again and drive this car together.
Hopefully, or on the Nürburgring, because that's my favorite space.
I'll take that invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
So, to the conclusion for today for the M340i. In general, the new 3 Series is an evolution on the exterior. On the interior, you have more room. That's very important, so it's more versatile. Also, the interior build quality has been stepped up. The M340i then, the M performance model, if the M model is maybe too expensive and too extreme for you, but if you already want a lot of performance and still want this combination between performance and comfort. The M surely the pure sports model with losing in comfort, but here we will able to experience the comfort very soon and really test it out also on the racetrack, because with this adaptive suspension, well, which is a little bit lower here, but still has those new hydraulic elements. We're really anxious to test that out on real driving tests. So join us very soon for the full driving review of the 3 Series, both the 330 and the 340i here on Autogefühl. I hope you already enjoyed this episode here together with us.